Something I feel young people should be aware of when they get older and become adults is something called fine print. Now, fine print is something where, say, you are about to sign a contract for your first job, be that part-time or full-time, and you're reading over it, and there's a small bit that, to you, at this point, because you're unaware of it, goes unnoticed by you. That is the fine print. Those are specifics that people add into contracts and such, and they think that you're not going to notice it, and so it just slips by. And then when you do something and come back to that, they say, nope, you signed the contract, it says it right here in this fine print right here, but they're not going to call it that. Now, there are three kinds of fine print-esque that I think people should be aware of, from going from that they don't matter that much to not at all to something that you should at least be aware of when you're a young adult. The first one being ads. Now, if you have gone onto YouTube or whatnot and just had an ad pop up from, I'd say mainly fast food, and they're advertising something new, just near the end of it at the bottom, right about here, if you're watching it on YouTube, kind of, you'll see a small bit, little bit of text. Now, you might notice this now that I've brought it up, and you might not have noticed it in the past, but that is the fine print. Say, they're advertising a burger, and you want to go and get that burger, but what you don't know that in the fine print on the ad that it says near the end is that that's only available for in between these specific hours. Now, since you didn't notice it, you go there, you ask for the burger, and they inform you, to your knowledge that you weren't aware of, that it's unavailable and you can't get it. That's because you didn't read the fine print. And that's what a lot of people and companies, when they make these ads, are counting on, I guess, is that you don't notice it too much. The second one being video games. Now, I'm a gamer myself, and this kind of correlates to us, where if we're trying to play a game and there's an update that comes up, and then it updates, and then what'll happen is it comes up with not really fine print, but I kind of put it in that category, but it's more TNCs, terms and conditions, where if you've ever experienced this, they will give you a whole freaking back catalog of old stuff that a majority of people, I'd say roughly around 90-95% of gamers, just skip all the way down to the end and push accept. Now, I was curious about this a couple of times, so I've actually read a couple of those just all the way through. Most boring thing I've ever done in my life. But unfortunately, with video games, it's something that you don't really have to worry about because it doesn't really affect you too much. But at the same time, it's kind of scummy because the whole thing about it is that you can't actually play the game unless you accept it. So your only two options are just not playing the game at all whatsoever, or accepting these terms and conditions that you have no idea what the hell they are and just go with it. Now, a lot of the time, they're not very malicious because companies actually want you to play their games, so it'd be kind of pointless for them to put in these terms and conditions or this fine print in, and then you decide to not play their game, buy any of their stuff. So it's kind of counterproductive in the way that they want to sell it to you and keep playing. Now, the last one, this one is actually very important for young adults because I've experienced this myself. When we're young and we get paperwork, even if it is just our monthly bills or something that we need to read over because it's important, we just chuck it up into a bowl and chuck it in the bin because we don't care, because it's not important to us at that point in time. With contracts, mainly job contracts, reading everything that's in there and taking your time to actually understand it and what's written in there, fine print or no, is very important, because there are companies out there, some companies, that will put in the fine print things that actually can stop you from leaving the job in a specific amount of time or require you to do these certain things that you, I say, wouldn't agree with because they don't align with your principles or your desire to work a certain amount of hours, or things that they actually promised you, but then you sign the contract and then those promises go out the freaking window. But yes, more or less that when you are contracts or when you are signing a contract for rent, if you're ever renting a house or getting a mortgage or taking out a loan from the bank, which literally just anything that requires you to read over this document in specific and finite detail, just to make sure there is no scummy little fine print in there, it's something very important and something that you should do. Because no matter how much it might bore you or seem uninteresting now, if you're younger, it's very important for you the older you get and the more things that you either want to buy, need to buy, and it's just the way the world works with having to sign these contracts and read them and understand them so that it doesn't come back and bite in the ass later on. So yeah, that's about it. Those three. Pretty simple, but I thought I'd make something nice and simple considering the fact I haven't made any videos in like 2 weeks. So yeah, that's about it. I hope whoever's watching this took something out of it, and I will see you guys in the next one when I find something to do.